Whoa, it's the illusion reporting somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Anyway, I was sitting here in the car driving down to the Towns Out Woodworking studio, and I was thinking about what unifies a certain group of people, where the new space is going to begin that's going to save us all, and gratitude. So right off the bat, I know one group of people that are totally unified beyond religious boundaries, skin colors, ethnic tones, sexual orientation, gender identification, and that's recovering drug addicts and alcoholics, right? Now, a recovering drug addict and alcoholic will help another recovering drug addict and alcoholic regardless of any of their spacesuit issues, their color, their sex, their gender, anything I just listed, right? Because only a drug addict and alcoholic knows what it's like to have burned their life down. And maybe that's where it's all coming from. Maybe that there's this giant rift going on is because you have one group of people that haven't burned their life down trying to communicate with another group of people that are sitting from another perspective of having not burned their life down. Or maybe they have burned, maybe everyone's burned their life down. What I'm getting at is this, is if we're gonna stop the insanity that seems to be plaguing this nation and this world, we gotta get to some sort of common space. And for me, like, one of the common spaces I've found is drug addiction and alcoholism. Because drug addiction and alcoholism does not discriminate. It's an equal opportunity affliction. So that's just something to think about. And then I was getting to the whole thing of wow, how grateful I am. How grateful I am that I burned my life to the ground once upon a time. And I'm able to rebuild it. And I'm able to wake up every day and be grateful that my life doesn't look like it did 6.5 years ago when it was on fire and it was just smoldering rubble, dude. And how that because I've been occupied that space of utter life destruction, I can't get down with separation. I got to get with unity, right? Because I was an army of one once upon a time. I hated everybody, dude. When I was active in my alcoholism and my addiction, I hated 7.5 billion people on the daily, dude. So I didn't care what you looked like. I didn't like you. I didn't like any of you. And then I realized that God communicates through human beings. That's the only way I get to hear the message of God, is through other human beings. And so I began to realize that separation was essentially hell, and that the only way to get back to the light was to join people and help people and to be of service to my fellow human beings. And when you're coming from that type of a perspective, man, you can't see color, religion, sexual orientation, gender, any of that, man. All I see is another human being that needs my help. And the only way that I get to help myself is to help another human being. And that gets me to my dinner table. So I was sitting at the dinner table again last night, right? We live in a house where we don't have televisions, we don't have Wi-Fi signals. We got 4 human beings and a cat. And we're forced to hang out with each other. And sometimes it is forced, man, because sometimes we all aren't on the same page, and there's conflict and there's differences. But underneath it all is because we all sit down at the dinner table together, we reach a common ground. Maybe it's just eating food. I don't know. But in there, we talk about what's going on with ourselves if there's conflict, and what's going on in our days. And so it's this space that I occupy that that I'm totally 100% grateful for, because when you're an army of one, there's no dinner table. So I sit with 4 human beings and a cat, the 4 of us. And in our own little family, there's 4 different perspectives about everything. 2 of them are female, 2 of them are male, 2 of them are adult, 1 of them's a baby, 1 of them's an 11-year-old. And we all see things differently. And what I've learned is that we can't be distracted, that we've got to interrupt the signal that's coming into our lives, into our households, causing us to destroy our lives and our households. Look, man, I'm fully sympathetic with the whole racial inequality thing going on, man. It's worldwide. I don't think it's just here in America. But I also know that from a perspective of an addict and an alcoholic, that skin tone isn't the problem, man. It is the content of your character and the interrupting of the signal. You see, it doesn't matter if you're the richest Anglo person on spaceship Earth. If you don't sit down at the dinner table and communicate with your family, drug addiction, man, alcoholism ensue. And that goes if you're the lowest family in some inner city ghetto. If you do sit down at the dinner table as a family and turn off the signal, good things happen, man. If you go and check out the difference of people who raised themselves out of poverty, it comes from a solid family structure, man. And that's what I got a lot of gratitude for right now, is I'm able to attempt to facilitate that with my family. Yeah, do I fall on my face constantly? Does my character defect constantly get in the way of a successful family interaction at the dinner table? Yes, it does. But you know what? We don't have anywhere to go. We don't have any televisions in our house and Wi-Fi signals to disappear into. We have to sit down at our dinner table and work on it as a family. And that's what I would say to everybody is if we're gonna ever be unified, we gotta unify ourselves at our dinner table first. We have to stop watching television, dude. Number 1. We got to turn off the Wi-Fi signal. Number 2, I think we need to take off our shoes and walk around in the dirt. Number 3, read this pretty good book about electromagnetic energy, man. Look, the problem is not our skin tone or the size of our bank account. It is what we're doing at the dinner table. It really is. I'm grateful I can see that, man. I'm grateful I'm a drug addict, alcoholic who's burned his life down, and I can come to these realizations, because these realizations did not come on the other side of my drug addiction and alcoholism. It was only till I became ungrateful and burned it all down that I was able to restart my life and begin to realize that unity through a common cause gets me home to my dinner table, where I can communicate the beauty of life, man. Anyways, the illusion, some thoughts about gratitude, dinner tables, and racial equality.